Imagine being able to receive an extra $1,300 every single month, just for being a senior citizen in Canada. Sound too good to be true? Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what could be happening for millions of eligible retirees across the country very soon. The Canada Pension Plan, or CPP, is one of the biggest sources of retirement income for Canadians. And in a potential game-changing move, the federal government is considering increasing CPP payouts by a massive $1,300 per month for seniors who qualify. That's right, an extra $15,600 per year, on top of whatever you're already receiving from CPP, OAS, and any other income sources. Rent/mortgage, groceries, utilities, travel. That monthly $1,300 boost could go a long way towards covering all your biggest expenses in retirement. Now I know what you're thinking. There has to be a catch, right? Maybe only a tiny percentage of seniors will actually get this money. Or it's just for low-income retirees. Well, you'll have to keep watching to find out all the details on who qualifies for this potential CPP increase, when it could take effect, where the idea currently stands, and why the government is considering such a massive boost to payouts for seniors. This is huge news that could have life-changing impact for millions of Canadian retirees. So let's dive in. But first, for those who are new here, welcome to the Seniors Money YouTube channel. My name is Michael, and I'm passionate about helping Canadian retirees make the most of their money in retirement. On this channel, I break down key money topics that impact seniors, like maximizing your income sources, taking advantage of benefits and credits, budget hacks to make your cash stretch further, investment strategies, estate planning, and more. I do all the research to equip you with trusted information and practical tips to ensure your golden years are secure and comfortable from a financial perspective. So if you're a Canadian senior or soon-to-be retiree, hit that subscribe button and join the Seniors Money family. Explaining the potential $1,300 CPP increase. 2,000 words. Okay, let's get into the juicy details on this potential $1,300 monthly increase for the Canada Pension Plan that's making waves across the country. First, some key context. The maximum CPP payout currently sits at around $1,250 per month for those who have made the maximum allowable contributions over their working life. So we're talking about literally doubling the maximum CPP benefit with this proposed $1,300 increase. Now, the idea of a CPP increase has been tossed around for years, but this latest proposal from advocacy groups and policy experts really seems to be gaining steam. They argue that since the CPP fund is financially sustainable for the foreseeable future with a steady stream of contributions from workers, the time is right to provide greater payouts to help support the soaring costs of living that seniors face, especially when it comes to housing, healthcare, and other necessities. According to the proposal, here are some of the key details on who would be eligible and how it would work. Any Canadian over the age of 65 who is currently receiving CPP would automatically qualify. The increase would be $1,300 on top of whatever you are already getting from CPP each month, not a flat $1,300 total. Both you and your spouse/partner would individually qualify to receive the extra $1,300 per month, so a couple could see $2,600 extra per month combined. Income would not be a factor at all. Both high and low-income seniors would qualify. No questions asked. The increase would essentially be funded by maintaining or slightly raising the current CPP contribution rates from employers and employees. So from a pure affordability perspective, they argue the CPP reserve can absolutely take on higher payouts to seniors without putting the overall system at risk of running out of money anytime soon. In fact, data suggests the fund could easily handle payouts increasing up to 50% above current levels over the long term. These policy experts also highlight the broader economic boost that would result from putting billions more dollars into the pockets of Canadian seniors each year through enhanced CPP. That money will be spent in communities on housing costs, home renovations, healthcare services, transportation, recreation, and more, creating jobs and stimulating businesses across various sectors of the economy. One of the most vocal critics are business associations, company owners, and employer groups across Canada. Their main contention: that increasing CPP payouts by such a large amount would require higher contribution rates from companies and employees to keep the plan sustainable. Currently, employers and employees each pay 5.7% of an employee's annual earnings between $3,500 and around $64,000 into CPP. That percentage has been steadily increasing over the years as a stilt tax in the eyes of many businesses. An increase of over $1,300 per month in CPP payouts would be enormously expensive to sustain, likely requiring employers/employee contributions to rise to 7% or higher according to analysts. This raises costs for companies at a time when they are already struggling with high inflation, supply chain issues, labor shortages, and economic uncertainty. Many argue that a CPP hike could force companies to raise prices, reduce hiring, cut other employee benefits, or even close up shop entirely for small businesses operating on thin profit margins. It's an extra payroll tax that gets passed on to employees and consumers. Higher income seniors and taxpayer groups. While advocacy groups push the CPP increase as a way to alleviate senior poverty, critics argue that the proposal is an untargeted and wildly excessive way to achieve that goal. They contend higher income retirees and wealthy seniors absolutely do not need an extra $1,300 per month from the government. According to analysis from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, around 40% of seniors receiving the maximum $1,250 CPP payout already have an individual income above $70,000 per year. An extra $1,300 per month would push many into an even higher tax bracket, while providing a huge financial windfall they likely don't need. The CTF and other taxpayer/anti-debt groups believe a CPP increase should be far more modest and targeted exclusively towards low-income seniors. They argue it doesn't make sense to provide higher upper-middle class and wealthy retirees with thousands more per year from a program meant to be a safety net. Younger generation of workers. Employers aren't the only ones concerned about having to pay higher CPP contribution rates to fund an increase. Younger and future workers also argue they will unfairly foot the bill through higher deductions off their paychecks for decades to come. With costs like housing, education, childcare, and general cost of living making it incredibly difficult to get ahead financially, many in their 20s, 30s, and 40s feel resentful having to pay even more in the CPP, especially when the benefits may not be there for them by the time they retire as seniors continue to live longer. From their perspective, an increase of this magnitude is simply unaffordable given the existing financial constraints on their generation. Some argue the money could be better spent on other government programs, tax credits, and initiatives that provide more immediate benefits for younger Canadians. Government fiscal restraints. Finally, while the CPP is technically separate from the federal government's budget and revenue streams, some conservative critics argue that an increase of this scale further enables reckless spending and fiscal mismanagement in Ottawa. With the federal debt already topping $1 trillion and rising, along with consistent budget deficits, they believe adding billions more in CPP payouts is the opposite direction the government should be heading. The focus should be on restraint, balancing the books, reducing costs, and putting more money back into the pockets of overburdened taxpayers. From this perspective, tacking on such a substantial increase to an already expensive pension program shows the government has misplaced priorities. They would rather continue expanding expenditures and programs instead of reining in costs and focusing on economic policies that drive growth, job creation, and increased prosperity for all Canadians. So with such polarized views on both sides, where exactly does this potential $1,300 monthly CPP increase currently stand? And what are the actual next steps and chances of it becoming a reality for Canadian seniors? As of right now, the proposal has been studied in depth by government committees, policy experts, and economists to analyze its full financial impacts and feasibility. Advocacy groups have also mounted massive letter-writing campaigns and lobbying efforts to gain political support for implementation. While the opposition voices I outlined earlier remain loud, several federal party leaders have expressed at least tentative support for the idea of boosting CPP payouts for seniors across the income spectrum. In their view, $1,300 may be on the higher end, but they agree that current CPP levels and other income sources like OS are clearly not sufficient to maintain a decent standard of living for the average Canadian senior. They believe some meaningful increase that lifts tens of thousands of retirees out of poverty is warranted. However, party leaders have also stated that they want to see a more detailed, nonpartisan analysis on exactly how much an increase could be financially sustainable for the CPP fund over the long haul, as well as what the impact would be on contribution rates and costs passed on to workers and businesses. From those analyses, a more modest increase, perhaps in the range of $500 to $800 per month, may be viewed as a reasonable compromise that still provides a substantial income boost for seniors while being affordable to implement. If the political winds continue blowing in this direction, We could potentially see the governing party include a CPP increase as a pillar of their policy platform heading into the next federal election cycle in 2025, though the amount and eligibility parameters will likely be hotly debated during the campaign. If they are re-elected or a new party gains power while campaigning on some level of CPP increase, it would then be up to them to study the policy further and draft actual legislation to increase payouts at their chosen level. From there, it would take 2 to 3 years at minimum of planning, lead time, and implementation before seniors would start seeing actual increases to their monthly CPP checks. So while we are likely still a few years away from any real changes, this is a debate that has serious momentum and legs to potentially reshape the financial futures of retirees in a major way. As for my opinion, I believe some level of increase to CPP is reasonable and warranted to help seniors keep up with the ever-increasing cost of living. An extra few $100s per month could make a major difference in financial quality of life. However, I do have concerns that $1,300 may be too steep of a hike all at once without seriously disrupting contribution rates and adding payroll tax burdens on businesses and workers. A more modest staged increase over time may be the best balanced approach to avoid potential economic pitfalls. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think about significantly boosting CPP payouts for seniors? Is $1,300 too much, too little, or just right in your view? I'd love to discuss this important issue further, so leave your comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. And if you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the Seniors Money YouTube channel for much more essential retirement financial content every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.